Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Aries November 2023 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. And for November, what we have here is a really interesting set of tarot cards. The artwork featured is that of a fellow called William Blake. Now, William Blake was an Englishman who was born in about the mid-1700s, I think, and died around about 1820. He was a poetic genius, and he also produced a lot of artwork as well. In fact, I would put him up there with Shakespeare, the great English playwright and poet, as somebody who really understood the use of words and could evoke the other realms within the art. And this is a deck that's very much focused on art. It's focused on the language of God, which is poetry, painting, music, for example. Excuse me. And the suits of the cards are in those terms: music, painting, poetry, and other things as well, as we shall just see in just a moment. Now, I've done a countless number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for people from different countries in the world over the course of the last month by FaceTime and Skype, and if you might be interested in seeing what's involved in that, then just have a look at the description box below. At the end of the reading, check out the website anyway, because I think you might find some interesting material there. Now, I also have done a lot of healings over FaceTime and Skype for people in different countries. Now, healings, of course, are done for free. The reason why that spiritual gift was provided to me at birth is so that I permit the energy to come through me, not from me, as you would understand, but I can receive no reward from it. I need a charge for readings for the obvious reason. But anyway, let's get things underway, shall we? Now, you know there are no video advertisements in here, so you get to enjoy everything without interruption. See what there is first, and it is this, which is the Ace of Painting. We're just talking about that, weren't we? Here is the Moon card. Something from in the center. The Stars, plural, this is called. It's Major Arcana number 17, which ordinarily you understand to be the star. But imagine, I'll have a look in just a moment. There is the Ace of Science. It's one of the other ways in which the divine mind is expressed. And finally, shall we take something here? And it is the Four of Poetry. Poetry, science, painting. Well, come with me. Sit down next to me. We'll have a good close look at the imagery on these cards together. I'll use my pen to point out some esoteric stuff that I think's interesting for you. And together, we'll look at the art while I do the reading for you. What a great looking spread of cards for you. Let's have a look at this central energy first, because this is saying what is going to be going on for you, I think, for all the month. This is the context in which things are happening. Now, I have a great degree of what I would call Aquarius energy around here, which is particularly good for you because in Aries, Aries and Aquarius form a sextile together in astrology, which is a very good combination. It's a very good angle together, so it speaks of a great degree of happiness, I think, and peace and goodwill going on and the quieting of your mind. Now here we see that the light of the starry intelligence reveals your path once again. The worst of the darkness is over. Your soul's inner eye now opens to the grandeur and magnificence of eternity. Now there's a central figure here. His arms and fingertips are upraised as if absorbing energy, and he glows in ecstasy, doesn't he? Now at his left, which is the intellectual arm for him, I think there is the book of knowledge and the lamp of imagination. There's his little lamp there. And while at his right are the spirits of herbs and flowers, as well as symbols of human love. Now at the bottom left, lilies and roses. Well, they are personified, I suppose, by two pairs of figures. In one, a hovering woman. See her here? She resurrects somebody, really, and resurrects that person from the earth, and a dancing couple embrace each other beneath an arch of little baby angels that you can see there, signifying perfect love. This is a great period of love for you. Now, underneath this book that's here, as I can see, well, there is a mother nursing, well, two people, so two little twins. And above him, as you can see in the painting, there is, well, a whole lot of people beseeching the stars, but being spiritually blind, they can only cry in frustration, because without inspiration, they fail to understand what they desire from the stars is actually within them and not beyond the reach above them. Now, the other thing that strikes me is the Roman numerals down here. The numeral here is 17. Well, 17 is the number of dreaming, promise, perceiving things, and also of imagination. And it brings spiritual evolution by finding your true self. The treasure, you see, is always within your own heart. Well, the star is offering you guidance, wholeness, and inspiration, and focus on your path towards understanding your destiny in the universal plan. It reminds you that the universe provides you with a continuous light that is shared with you and shines on your own individual path as you travel through life's experiences. Now, when you feel lost, experience a lack of hope, or find yourself avoiding situations, this energy shines brightly upon you to go into your true inner self. It guides you to trust your inner voice, your intuition, to open up and receive the light. Now, by receiving the universal light, you connect to a deeper understanding, you see, which leads to healing, self-esteem, self-love, and self-trust, which then opens you up to receive cosmic inspiration from the divine. And the star brings you hope and healing. So let your star rise and stay in contact with the earth. Trust your environment and find ways to let others share in it. You will be tested and recognized by the fruits you bear. There's a question that I have, though, and it is this: are you totally fulfilled in your present area of work? Check to see if you are doing everything possible to bring your ideas into fruition. And say this to yourself: I am a radiant light being. I am a star that walks upon a bigger star. I can see what will be of benefit to people, and my creative powers of imagination and my connection to all-encompassing consciousness show me the way to realize my ideas. Well, I suppose we should go to the next major arcana, and that happens to be here, and it is the moon. Well, what is going on here? I'm coming on. This is shedding the light of lunar understanding upon a beautiful but maybe tricky stage in your path. The moon represents the use of your subconscious mind for intuition, dreams, and creativity. Going inside yourself, using your threefold vision. This is a type of perception that brings together thoughts and feelings, as well as your emotions. Now here we see a family of pilgrims beside a moonlit bay, endangered by a pair of, what would they be, robbers or fiends of some description who are hiding in the darkness. Now, this scene is a state of spiritual rest, artistic creativity for you, and open sexuality. These figures which are lurking in the shadows behind the rock and beneath this oak tree are enemies of intuition, the twin villains of reason and morality, the forces of society and worldly consciousness. Now, their animal-like clothing, their furry garb and primitive nature shows that they also represent the personal fears, nightmares, psychological shadows and dark emotions within your own mind, perhaps, which can be encountered in a stage on your journey. But this energy here signifies a descent into the shimmering sea of emotions, risking both your inner delusions and societal disapproval, and seeking the rewards of inner peace and spiritual communion. You see, the astrology of this card is that of Neptune in Pisces, and Neptune is something of a it is one which can bring about delusions or illusions, and so you may be asking yourself at this time, is it real or is it a delusion? Is what someone is saying to you real? Look behind the words. But your soul itself maybe is finding itself in a strange landscape that can easily generate feelings of sorrow and loneliness, or a disturbing sense of alienation from what was a familiar and comforting before. However, the moon gives light that signifies the ability to confront your fear with the creative insights and solutions that are within you. Now, the moon represents the gateway to the unknown. It brings you to a new, unfamiliar ground, perhaps, and all the fears and demons that you have carried with you now could seem bigger, scarier, and meaner monsters than you have ever experienced them before. But when this moon calls you to enter the darkness, feelings and emotions can come out of nowhere. Trust your inner divine light. The moon reminds you to go forward without worrying about all the what-ifs. Trust your ambition, trust your authentic self, and fight off the monsters, because you will be successful. Light is always brighter than darkness, and the moon's guiding light is saying to you, follow me, use your inner strength and focus, trust your intuition and instincts, and you will wake up on the other side of the threshold free. Now, there's no doubt that at a period here you will have heard the call of the unknown, but just follow that call and go there, because you are protected and you will be free, as I say. Now, what inner regions feel strange, alien, or unknown to you? Where are your blind spots? What experiences are you most afraid of? Remember, it's always darkest just before the dawn, but you will be very gifted at turning difficult situations into positive events and working through difficult situations and relationships. I think you'll be quite romantic, someone who desires not to be deceived or deluded by others, and you'll have little tolerance for self-deception or illusion. And you'll have an unusual sexual magnetism at this time, so be prepared for that. And remember, the moon reflects the sun, you reflect the divine. Now, where am I drawn to next? I think it's down here to this Ace of Science. What's going on there? Okay, I remember that from just a second ago. Well, here is a figure. Let's have a look at this figure here. Now, he is writing with his right hand. Now, I know all these artworks are very often etchings by William Blake, so I'm assuming he is etching this person with his left hand. Now, from the edges of the open book that are here, there are descending roots. Can you see those there? These roots are coming in here, which indicate that the ideas that he has as he's writing, they come from nature and not the imagination. Now, behind this figure are what look like a couple of tombstones representing spiritual death. They could also be like the tablets of Moses, which had moral law, which limited people's freedom of action. And arching over the whole scene is what might be called the forest of error, part of which encloses the mind, or part of which encloses this burial chamber that sort of looks like it's coming up here. I think that this card here is about acquiring and retaining new knowledge for you. It is pure mental perception that neither sees nor judges, but simply records, simply takes the data in, is what I'm getting. Now, here you accumulate and document information without emotion or judgment. You are poised, balanced in the midst of ideas, and ideas that are coming up for their own sake, absorbing and taking them in. It may seem like you are walking blind through a forest of overwhelming possibilities, gathering details without yet knowing how they will fit into the final product. But good things are coming through. You see that they do fit in. Now, this can also mean the ability to see both sides of a situation objectively, and it does indicate the need for a single focused input with multiple outputs. As far as the creative process is concerned, this is when you stuff your brain with knowledge. And the image, in a way, kind of suggests the brain itself, the seat of the intellect, showing both the left and the right hemispheres, and its blind absorption of data. But what happens here is that this energy is bringing a sort of an intellectual genius to you, igniting groundbreaking insights into things that you're up to, which could be art, music, lifestyle. Your brain is going to be enlivened with concepts and inspirations that are directed into greater creations of wonder, advancement, and good. You know, this energy is blessing you with a great imagination, I think. Creative and inventive inspiration is bringing magical aha sort of moments to you. But the key to this ace, when all this data is being covered, is to use mental focus. Clarity and direction will lead you on to the goal after this data has been obtained. And there's also a degree of inspired intellect around here as well. You know, this energy is, I think, penetrating deep into your subconscious and into your soul self, bringing its wisdom to the light of consciousness. This ace is planting the seeds of courage, justice, honesty, and truth. It brings movement and the urgency to put your thoughts and ideas into action. Your mind is constantly absorbing information, as we've seen, changing the thought patterns of the intellect. Now, this brings the birth of potentials for you, a great degree of foresight. Could also talk about a child arriving as well. It represents new inspirational ideas, imagination, perspectives, and embarking on the adventure of intellectual exploration. Now, if you're feeling stuck or in doubt or blocked with a problematic situation, then this ace cuts through the mental fears and that chatter that goes on in your mind and cuts through it with power, purpose, and clarity, bringing resolution. It brings success and victory through life's challenges, expanding your wisdom. I think that this is signaling that it's a time for you to seize the day, to take action, and create new purpose in your life so that you can line yourself up with your true destiny. Then where do we go to next? I would suggest we would look at this, which is the Four of Poetry. I really like the astrology associated with this card for you because this is your sign. It is Venus coming into the third decan of your sign of Aries, which is, it's the 10th to the 19th of April, I think, isn't it? Well, Here we see a woman and a bearded old man standing by a river which has got on it swans, and certainly over here, as I can see, flamingos. You just might make out their pink feathers. Well, I think that this symbolises the river of life in its rich flow, at which male and female, innocence and experience, beauty and wisdom stand by side with each other in harmony. Now, these two figures are clothed in simple, unpretentious robes. They raise their heads to gaze into a glow which comes from above. This heavenly spotlight indicates that they are eternal forms whose heightened awareness enables them to spiritually emerge with their environment. Maybe they represent, in a sense, Adam and Eve returned to the garden in their old age after restoring their own inner harmony. Now, their hands are in upright gestures, really, aren't they? Which shows gratitude and worship, and the branches of a tree of life, perhaps, that kind of hovers over their heads. And both of their long flowing hair suggests that theirs is a happy marriage of freedom and knowledge. They really stand on what I see as being the spiritual bank of the river, with nature represented by the opposite bank, whose flamingos of paradise play by the stream. Now, the surrounding willow trees there, and I think what we do here is they're associated with the goddess and her creativity and intuition, and the two swans near the bank next to the people confirm that all the creative energies, both natural and spiritual, for you are in harmony. Now, this four of poetry here suggests that you are on the right path and you should keep going forward to make sure that you achieve your successful accomplishment. Now, this four of poetry, see, four is very much about power, stability. It is bringing renewal, development, new ideas, strengths and concepts to you. A level of perfection has been reached, and you are riding the energetic wave of creativity to the next horizon of possibilities. Now, this four of poetry, I think, brings movement and new directions. As you enjoy the harvest of your efforts, begin to plan your next step towards the future. Because with success, you can easily become content with its comfort and security, which can lead to stagnation, can't it? So to keep the energy moving, the actions of completion of things, tying things off, and initiation, starting new things, they need to be kept cycling. Tie off the old before you start the new, because eventually there is a need to unleash your creative energy, channeling it to new opportunities, and I can see that coming through here now. Now, this four of poetry, I think, is, well, it moves energy from the successful platform you have created to open horizons of new imagination and inspiration. Now, when this energy enters, you've completed something with great success, and fulfillment and reward will be flowing to you. You are kind of free from restrictions. I don't know that you'll necessarily always be free from deadlines, but you'll have less than normal, and your limitations will be released. Well-being, high energy, and stamina of yours. And I think that this is also talking about sharing things with friends, fun, joy, generosity. You might even be attending a wedding, is what I'm getting, or some sort of a celebratory event. Your achievements give you a moment to breathe and take in the journey that brought you to the present. It's also suggesting to you not to rest on the laurels of success for too long, or you can miss opportunities. Now, this four indicates new levels of growth and development in a project, in a relationship, or in a lifestyle that brings peace and harmony to you. So when the time is ripe, grab the golden ring of new possibilities and move forward to a new chapter in your life. And then we come finally, and sadly rather quickly I think, given the time, to the Ace of Painting. Now this has got Aries all over it. I think that the signs of Gemini and Taurus are also going to be important to you. It depicts a naked woman grasping, well, using my poetic license, two starry phalluses or penises that snake upward from a sea of time and space and yet belong to the unformed angels that hover over her. I think that she shows a gift for creativity which is undimmed by your age. And I think that the angels are her own inner vision, which will impregnate her and generate all the forms and artifacts of the material world. Her gift is sensation, the sensuality that allows form to recognize itself. Now, I think you have the gift of physical and mental energy at this time and the urge to create, but you must direct this flow. This is a burst of creativity that rises up, spewing and spurting ideas which may, however, fall barren if you do not grasp and direct their input, or their output for that matter. Just going on that imagery that's there. And I think that what it is saying here is that she is the woman who creates, who manipulates energy to tangible form. Generation shows you handling and using the cosmic resources available to you. Now you know that for me, this is the highest manifestation energy that's sitting in this deck for me. And I think that it's asking you to pay attention to the path you are walking. Is your mind, heart, spirit, and physical being working together in harmony? Take the time to ask, see, listen, and feel. Now, when the ace enters, as it has done now, good things are on the way. The planted seeds of your dreams and visions begin to blossom into manifestation. Good fortune, prosperity, abundance, and security are coming to you. Conditions are excellent to launch new ideas or projects, and there's supportive energy, opportunity to change things for the better. Now this ace brings financial opportunity and some gain, wealth, success, security. It symbolizes the body and soul working in balance, bringing recovery and well-being, and inspires you to maybe work with the land and nature as it brings grounding energy, creating peace in your inner and outer worlds.
Well, I told you that was an interesting deck, didn't I? And I think you'll agree with me that it was. And what a wonderful month it's going to be for you. Don't you deserve it? Really, you do. Do you know what? I love doing your readings. I look forward to seeing you each month, and in particular, look forward to seeing the subscribers. You're very, very dear to my heart. Well, I guess unless I see you privately, then I'll see you again next month. And until then, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.